Today I want to talk to you about Stinkdiving, which is not exactly meta, but it might be one of the most fun builds I've had in Helldivers in a long time.
Not at all, boy!
To build your Stinkdiver, you're going to need to bring the Sterilizer, some sort of gas armor. Pro tip, if you wear the medium or heavy gas armor and bring the vitality booster, the gas will not impact you at all. It does 0 damage.
P.U. What's that awful smell? Did we run over a skunk? Gas chamber!
Then, of course, you bring the gas grenades, the gas strike, and the dog breath drones, so you have all the gas arsenal to stink out all of your enemies. For your 4th stratagem slot, you can bring whatever you want. Typically, I recommend bringing something like an EAT or something that can destroy big guys, because without thermite grenades, you're not going to be able to do a whole lot against super heavily armored enemies. So having a few more options is, of course, good, but you can bring whatever you want.
What up, my mans and women?
What is this horrible odor?
Once you're equipped with all your stink materials, all you have to do is literally run into the enemies. That is your entire strategy. You see a bug breach, you run right in, throw in your gas strike. You see any sort of grouping of enemies or patrol, throw a gas grenade, throw your gas strike, or use your sterilizer, and basically the enemies will ignore you and attack each other rather than hitting you. And if they do manage to hit you, well, you have heavy armor on, or at least medium armor, so you should be able to survive. But here's where the real fun comes in. Once they're all good and confused, it is free range for you. You can destroy all those enemies however you want and rack up an insane amount of kills. I prefer the Blitzer just because it has unlimited ammo and you tend to go through a ton of ammo, but some people prefer to use like the little handheld flamethrower. It's really good. And gas and fire go together great, but I ran out of ammo so much that I prefer the Blitzer because I can just drop a gas strike, run in the middle of the bug breach, and just hold down the fire button and take out entire swarms and breaches of enemies, and that is so satisfying.
I don't smell anything.
Don't smell it, I can see it.
It's thick enough to cut through! Titan, go!
Extra points if you bring a stun baton or the stun lance, and you can run in there and really get face-to-face nitty-gritty with them while they're all confused and just whack on them and beat them. Again, it's not the most efficient way to take out enemies, but it is a lot of fun. However, without a grenade pistol in your secondary and without a crossbow or eruptor in your primary, you are going to not have many ways to take out bug holes. So again, this is not a meta build. It is not the most efficient way to dive, but it is a super fun way to dive. Let me also be upfront that there are some clear cons to this method, so be aware it is not always the best to use, especially if you are playing in a game where you're just like with randoms who aren't paying attention. It can be really frustrating to play with, so I want to be upfront about the cons as well as the pros. As far as cons go, this requires at least a little bit of coordination with your teammates, or you're going to get team killed a lot. Like, I find it really fun to run into the middle of all this chaos and blow the sterilizer all over everyone and have all the gas going and slowly take out the enemies. It is fun. Again, not the most efficient, but it's a ton of fun. But if you have any sort of allies with you, they're going to just end up blasting you or dropping a stratagem on you or hit you with a barrage or just friendly fire shoot you the good old-fashioned way with their rifle. The second most obvious con is this build takes up basically all of your slots. You have 3 slots dedicated to gas, and then you've got your grenade slot, and then typically your secondary is going to need to be a grenade pistol, again, if you want to do any sort of taking out bug holes or fabricators or anything like that. So it's a very dedicated build, which means that you're not really going to be great at anything except for the one thing you're setting out to do, which again, that is fun, but it can be frustrating if the rest of your allies are built for very specific things too, but no one brings anything like, say, to take out Bile Titans, which is why I recommend bringing the EAT in your 4th slot. The first time I've tried this build out, I did not bring an EAT. I brought the Flamer for my primary, and then my 4th slot, I brought a Gatling to help me mow down enemies, which was great, but not a single person brought an anti-tank item. So I had no thermite, no EATs, no one brought an recoilless rifle, quasar cannon, nothing. So we had absolutely no way to take out Bile Titans and Chargers, and that led to a very, very, very frustrating game. And the third con is actually the opposite of friendly fire, and that is the gas is very hard to see, especially if you drop a gas strike. I know that there's lots of people who will run right into it and take themselves out, and then they'll get mad at you for team killing them. I don't know if it's a visual glitch or not. I know some people say they can see the gas very well, but I've had many times where I can't even tell where the gas is at. So do be aware, again, if you're playing with other people and they're around you and they're not aware of what you're doing, they're going to run directly into the gas and take themselves out, and then they're going to blame you and be upset at you. As for the pros of this build, it is so satisfying to see a bug breach with a large bug breach, like when they do 2 or 3 holes at once and you've got Bile Titans and Chargers and thousands of hunters spawning all at once, and you drop one little stratagem on them and you watch them take each other out. That is so satisfying. And it's satisfying to sit in the middle of them with the blitzer and just mow through them. No ammo, no concerns, just holding down the fire button and watching the bugs explode. And I know I've mentioned bugs a lot, and I've got the bug gameplay going in the background, but it also works surprisingly well against the squids and the bots as well. With the bots, they cannot hit you for the life of them. And with the squids, when you're dealing with the huge, like hordes of the voteless, being able to break up those hordes and take them out is super satisfying. But it does not work nearly as well on the tripods. I don't know if it's a glitch or I don't know if it wasn't factored in, but if you're too close to the tripods, they fire that like spark that instantly takes you out, and that does not seem to be bothered by the gas. Like if you have them actively confused with the gas, they will still hit you with that. So do be aware it is not the most effective strategy against the tripods. And don't get me wrong, I was a gas hater when they made the gas change. I loved the orbital gas strike before the change, and when they brought in the fact that it just did confusion and a little bit of damage rather than super fast taking enemies out, I really hated on the gas and didn't play with it a whole lot. Now I've played with it a little bit more, and I know that people still bring up the argument, and I still use it myself, of, well, why would you gas them when you could just use anything else and take them out without having to confuse them and build this way? And the answer, of course, is fun, but it is also a heavy support build. Like, it does wonders for giving your team room to breathe and take care of things. So, as I've said multiple times, it's not the most meta build, it's not the most effective build, but it's a lot of fun and it does work. I almost wish that we had a handheld gas gun rather than having to have like a backpack slot or the sterilizer, rather having like the flamer just have a gas gun on your primary. I think that would open up a lot more options for using gas in an interesting way, without having to build all the way around it. And this build does work with less. Like if you were just using gas grenades and the dog breath, you could probably get away with replacing the sterilizer as well. But it's just so fun to have all the gas and be able to just constantly lock down entire breaches. So if you haven't had a chance yet, do yourself a favor and go out and stink dive. Just have fun with it. Run into crowds of enemies, throw gas grenades everywhere, hold down the sterilizer and just blast it all over entire swarms of enemies and watch them run around in chaos, and try the blitzer with it. Like I said, unlimited ammo just feels so good with this build. I did also try it with a couple of like the tenderizer and a couple other the assault rifles. And again, you just run out of ammo so fast. You don't want to be concerned about the ammo. You don't want to think, oh, I need to conserve or I need to have someone with a supply backpack near me. No, just hold down the blitzer and watch entire armies fall. Well, that's all I've got for today. I just wanted a quick little, hey, try stink diving. I was told on the forums it was a lot of fun, and they were right. If you have any other builds that are like this, that are like a really niche, but really, really insanely fun to play, share them down below. I'm going to try a few more ways. I know that I talk about the meta a lot, and I usually only play one build, so it is a lot of fun to go try out some new things and play a for fun method rather than trying to win method. So if you have anything else that's fun, put it down below so that I can try it. Have a blessed day.